Club look like when it finally gets serious? Because Manchester United are entering the most important transfer window in a generation. The season is over, the dust has settled, and right now, behind closed doors at Carrington, the people who run this football club are making decisions that will define the next 5 years. And I'm here to tell you, some of what's happening is genuinely exciting. Some of it will test your patience, and one of it is heartbreaking. We've got confirmed deals, dream targets, a Real Madrid saga that is far from dead, and the ongoing, agonising question about a player who was once the heartbeat of this club. This is the full picture, every moving part, every name, every complication. Stay with me, because this one is worth your time. This is the Red Break. We've covered Ederson in depth on this channel already. You know the details. 35 million to Atalanta, 3.8 million in add-ons. It's done. The base is set. Now we build on it. Because the names that come next, that's where this summer gets really interesting. Now, let's talk about the name that every United fan with a smartphone has been saying out loud for the last 3 months. Sandro Tonali, United target after Ederson deal completed. Tonali, one of the most gifted midfielders in European football. A player who, if you're being honest with yourself, you've pictured in a red shirt more than once. Here's where it stands. Tonali wants out of Newcastle. That much is not in question. His desire to leave St James's Park is real, and it's growing. But the path to that exit is complicated because he's a Premier League player, meaning any move is governed by the league's own financial rules. He can't just walk into Real Madrid or PSG. His next step, if he moves this summer, almost certainly stays in England. That narrows the field, and it places United right in the conversation. Now, there's been a lot of noise around Arsenal and Tonali. His agent made some admiring noises towards the Emirates back in January, and Arsenal are a serious club with serious money right now. That's not nothing. But here's the thing about the elite market this summer. It moves slowly. It's deliberate. The really big names, the Tonalis, the Tchouameni's, the Elliot Andersons, they don't get resolved in May or June. They get resolved after the World Cup, when the dust settles, when clubs know what their budget looks like, when players know what they want. Newcastle's financial position has changed dramatically since selling Anthony Gordon. They don't need to sell Tonali, which means if he goes, it'll be because Tonali himself forces the issue. And that's the variable we're all watching. If he pushes for the move, United have to be at the front of the queue. The squad fit is obvious, the ambition fits, the project fits. Is it done? No. Is it imminent? No. But is it dead? Absolutely not. Watch this space. Watch the World Cup. Because what happens over the next 4 weeks in America could change everything. So, I need to take a second here, because we need to talk about the name that sits above all the others. The one that Fabrizio Romano himself has called United's dream signing this summer. Aurélien Tchouameni. Real Madrid, France, 26 years old, Champions League winner, one of the best defensive midfielders on the planet, and Manchester United are still in this race. I know what you're thinking. Florentino Perez stood in front of microphones and said Tchouameni is not for sale. Real Madrid's position is that he stays, but football is not press conferences. Football is back channels and agents and transfer corridors that operate completely separately from what club presidents say in public. And what's happening behind those closed doors is very different from what Perez would have you believe. Here's what we know. Christopher Vivell, United's recruitment director, is personally leading the pursuit of Tchouameni. This isn't a whisper from a random journalist on Twitter. This is reported by Fabrizio Romano, the most connected reporter in world football. He says Tchouameni is United's dream target. Not a backup, not a consolation prize, the dream. Tyrone Marshall at the Manchester Evening News has gone further. He says Tchouameni could remain one to watch. And crucially, he adds that some people in Spain don't believe this situation is closed. Those aren't words you use accidentally. Those words mean something. And then there's the context around Real Madrid right now that you absolutely have to understand. The Bernabeu is in chaos. There's a presidential election happening. There are reports that Jose Mourinho, yes, that Jose Mourinho, could be heading back to the Spanish capital if Perez wins re-election. There are big money sales being planned to fund new signings. The club is in flux in a way we haven't seen for years. What that means is this: the situation that exists today at Real Madrid will look completely different come July. The certainties aren't certain. The not for sales aren't final. And here's the argument that makes Tchouaméni genuinely attainable. His reported price tag, around £70 million, maybe £75 million if Real play hardball. Compare that to Elliot Anderson, who Forest want over £100 million for. Compare that to Sandro Tonali, who would cost at least £100 million, probably more. For a player who is arguably better than both of them, certainly more proven at the very highest level, Tchouaméni represents extraordinary value. United signing Tchouaméni wouldn't just be a statement of intent. It would be one of the most significant pieces of business this club has done in the modern era. It's not easy. It's not close to done. But don't let anyone tell you it's impossible. The World Cup, that's the next chapter. France will play in North America over the next 4 weeks. Tchouaméni will play. And what happens during that tournament? A great performance, a dip in form, an injury, a falling out. Every single one of those things has the potential to shift this story. United are patient, United are watching, and United are ready. Meanwhile, let's stay on midfield for just a moment, because there's another name in this story that deserves serious attention. Matheus Fernandes, West Ham, Portugal, 21 years old. Talks have already been held. United want him. West Ham are demanding up to £80 million, but sources close to the situation suggest the actual deal will land closer to the £60 million mark. Now, £60 million for a 21-year-old Premier League midfielder is not nothing. But look at the profile. He's young, he's Portuguese, which matters given the connections already in that dressing room. And he's a number 8 in the truest sense of the word. A player who covers ground, connects play, carries the ball into dangerous areas. Pair him with Kobbie Mainoo, add Ederson as the enforcer. And then, if United get their man in the deep-lying role, you've got a midfield that can genuinely compete with anyone in Europe. That's the vision. That's what they're building towards. 2 outstanding young number 8, a versatile enforcer, and Bruno Fernandes or Mason Mount pulling the strings at 10. It's a proper midfield, a midfield you can build a title challenge around. The final piece, that elite number 6, is the one United are biding their time on. They know it. They're not panicking. They're being smart. And in a summer where patience is everything, that's exactly the right approach. So, let's shift. But now we have to have the conversation that a lot of United fans have been trying to avoid. I am saying Marcus Rashford. I want to be honest with you here because this channel doesn't deal in comfortable lies. We deal in truth. And the truth about Marcus Rashford's situation is difficult. As things stand, it is very hard to see how Rashford has a future at Old Trafford. There, I said it. And before you come at me in the comments, I'm not celebrating this. I grew up watching Rashford. I remember the night he came on as a teenager and scored twice against Midtjylland. I remember the penalties he put away in the FA Cup run. I remember the summer he was painting murals and feeding children and being everything this city loves about its football club. This hurts. It genuinely hurts. But here's the reality of where we are. Barcelona had until June 15th to activate their £26 million purchase option for Rashford. That deadline is approaching and it is already clear, crystal clear, they are not going to do it. £26 million for a player of Rashford's profile. In any other context, that's a bargain. The fact that Barcelona are walking away from it tells you everything about the complications surrounding this situation. But here's the part of this story that I think often gets lost in the noise. The decision to remove Rashford from the first team squad wasn't Ruben Amorim losing patience with a player. It wasn't a manager exerting his authority on someone he inherited. This was a club-led call. This was the decision of the people who run Manchester United. The people who set the direction of the culture, the values, the identity of this football club going forward. That tells you how serious this is. That tells you that the relationship between Rashford and United has broken down at a level that goes beyond tactics, beyond fitness, beyond any individual manager's preference. And that's what makes it so sad. Because the talent is still there. The Rashford who was the most electric forward in England, he's still in there somewhere. And part of you watches him in a red shirt and thinks, what if it clicked again? What if the right environment, the right